The Israelis bombed the headquarters of the Qatari Committee for the Reconstruction of Gaza. So there's a headquarters, a Qatari headquarters for the reconstruction of Gaza. And what did they do? They bombed it. Why? Because they don't intend to ever reconstruct Gaza, and they wanted to ensure that any efforts to do so are not going to exist, and it just doesn't ever happen. Here's the letter from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for the state of Qatar. They said Qatar condemns in the strongest terms the Israeli occupation's bombing of the headquarters of the Qatari Committee for the Reconstruction of Gaza. Says the state of Qatar condemns in the strongest terms the Israeli occupation's bombing of the headquarters of the Qatari Committee for the Reconstruction of Gaza, which is a flagrant violation of the international law and an extension of the occupation's approach to targeting civilians and civilian objects, including hospitals, schools, population centers, and shelters for the displaced. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs stresses that the bombing of the headquarters of the Qatari Committee for the Reconstruction of Gaza is an extension of the policy of targeting people, especially that this committee has worked through its projects on lifting the suffering of the population in the crisis-stricken Gaza Strip due to the long siege and the ongoing aggression. The ministry stresses the need for the international community to act urgently to hold Israel accountable for its repeated crimes against civilians and civilian objects and to oblige it to comply with international laws. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs also calls on the Israeli occupation to stop providing flimsy justifications for targeting civilian objects, health facilities, and civilians, and to use misleading information. The ministry stresses that this cannot be accepted under any consideration as to a pretext for targeting the headquarters of the committee that has been concerned with the reconstruction of what the occupation destroyed in its repeated wars on the Gaza Strip. Yeah. And unfortunately, the world blames the United States right along with Israel. We're viewed as the complicit duo in this ethnic cleansing campaign, in this genociding of people, and the bombing of their infrastructure, their health facilities, the committee to reconstruct Gaza, apartment buildings, schools, all the infrastructure is being wiped out. And Israel says, well, it's because we're targeting the Hamas command headquarters. All of those bombs, all of this time, and you're telling me that now the headquarters is moved, that they have a sophisticated underground headquarters somewhere else, a different part of Gaza that you now need to bomb. So all of this was a failure at this point. You're that bad. You're that bad at this, that now Hamas was able to evade you and move their headquarters even further underground. I mean, this is just outrageous. Look at this drawing. This was put out by, this has been circulating around on social media. So this is what people are saying. This is put out by pro-Israel sources, and they're saying this is what the two-state solution is going to look like. And this is just Gaza. This is Gaza with Israel occupying the north and taking the north and southern Gaza in the south. And they think that this is a sight to see. The people circulating this are proud of this, saying, yep, this is what it's going to be. This is what you get. We're going to take more land. You lose. Notice here that that's an IDF soldier, and the Palestinian looks like a little kid waving a white flag, and this is Israel. I mean, this is just, it's unfortunate, but I do think that this is accurate. I think this is an accurate rendering of what we can expect to see in the next month or two when Israel claims that they have now evacuated the entire northern strip of Gaza, moved everybody. They claim they're going to get it done in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And we'll see what happens from that point forward. But pretty crazy. It's just the inability for so many people to see what is actually going on just really reminds me of the pandemic, and people unwilling to believe, as they're on their 5th dose of the vaccine, swearing up and down that the pandemic will end if we all just do it. It was just the emotion that was attached and the lack of logic that was there, and the can't you see what's really happening? There's a reality here, and then there's the fantasy that you think is happening, and that is what's happening again here. It's very frustrating to see.